So what is the aim of yoga therapy? We will see now. The first aim of yoga therapy is to correct the functional disturbance, functional defect, and to establish the normalcy in all the body functions. Why? Because what is health? Health is not mere absence of disease, but all the body functions should function well, do well throughout a day. So each and every function of the body is going very well. Then only we can think of our immunity and good health. Secondly, Ayurveda says your mind, soul, and all organs should be in happy mood, prasanna. So if you remain prasanna for every time throughout a day, you are healthy and you are happy anyway. Second objective is to train the patient to adjust and tackle the stress successfully. Because all these disorders I mentioned, they were known as stress disorders. So what yoga is doing? Yoga is producing new reflexes, new alignments, new approaches, and that is how it is setting all the functions in the normal, on the normal level. So this training is to be done for the patient, and patient should listen it. Patient has to take the training. When the behavioral aspect will be covered, the patient will be cured out from the root cause. Then the patient questions, how is your lifestyle? So improvement in lifestyle will give a proper quality to his life. Now, why disease should occur? It is sure that it is because of our negligence, ignorance, idleness. All these things are happening. What happens is, for some reasons, because of some incidences, dissatisfaction, dejection, that is unhappiness, frustration, because of the stress, there are negative interactions between our self-projection and the surrounding people, environment, etc. Now our self-projection, मैं, इसका जो projection होता है वो, that is greatly influenced because of the cravings, desires, likes and dislikes. मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है, वो नहीं अच्छा लगता, वगैरह वगैरह. Our own attitude, ambitious desires, beliefs, strong belief, negative emotions, our hopes and failures, etc. So all these influence our self-projection. And then this produces imbalance in our mind. And you know that restless mind, unstable mind can easily be empowered because of the emotional tensions, conflicts, and So when autonomic balance is disturbed, muscle tone is also disturbed. The strength of the muscle is also decreases. So that also decreases. And all these will influence our glandular function. So all the glands and their secretion will be affected. So in short, disintegration at all levels, body, mind and soul complex, disharmony, no coordination, and because of all these, the disease process sets in. That is why it is known as disease, disorder. And scientifically, it is known that the continuous stressful condition also increases the adrenaline level, cortisol, which is known as stress hormone. And now WHO, World Health Organization, has clarified that it is not the cholesterol, but the cortisol level is responsible for formation of blockages in coronary arteries. हार्ट की जो वेसल्स है उनमें जो ब्लॉकेजेस है वो कोलेस्ट्रॉल के कारण नहीं है, बल्कि कॉर्टिसोल नाम का जो स्ट्रेस हार्मोन है उसकी वजह से होते हैं, ऐसे अभी WHO ने क्लैरिफाई कर दिया है. They have beg pardoned also. So weakened autonomic balance, that will disturb our respiration, circulation, glandular secretion. So what will happen? Our immune power will also decrease. So this is how, when immunity goes down, healing power is not working well, we are mentally disturbed, any disease can approach us very easily and we will welcome the disease. So in psychosomatic conditions, if it becomes a chronic ailment, then there is an impairment at the cellular level. Then it can develop some structural defect and pathological defect also. That is why we go to pathological laboratory for testing of the blood, urine, etc. So during all these 50, 60, 70 years, it was seen that yoga therapy will be very effective for certain disorders like digestive disorder, that is hyperacidity, flatulence, constipation, colitis, piles, respiratory disorders, sinusitis, bronchitis, asthma, cardiovascular, hypertension, heart disease, varicose veins, low BP, nervous disorders like epilepsy, headache, migraine, insomnia, orthopedic disorders like backache, spondylitis, slip disc, sciatica, metabolic disorders like diabetes, obesity, thyroid function disorder, and of course psychological, psychiatric disorders like drug addiction, depression, nervousness, neurosis, anxiety, worries, and all these things. So yoga is helpful for all these disorders. Now we will see what are the principles through which yoga therapy acts upon the human body. हमारी जो योग थेरेपी है वो 3 तत्वों से काम चलाती है. Main principles, sub principles may be many. The first principle is purification of nadis. There is a concept of mala in yoga, that this mala or toxic substances, they can block the nadis, and that is why the prana cannot be conducted from one place to another. And when prana cannot flow through these nadis, there is obstruction for it, then it can produce the problem. Because every cell, every tissue needs this prana shakti, energy for its functions. So the nadi shuddhi, because of the purificatory or cleansing processes, Shat Kriyas, Neti, Dhauti, Kapalbhati, Tratak, all. So with this, there will be Nadi Shuddhi. Anulom Vilom is a Nadi Shuddhi technique. It is not a pranayam. It is a Nadi Shuddhi technique, though we call it pranayam. So this Nadi Shuddhi should be there when we think about yoga therapy. So yoga therapy, when we give to the patient, it will work through, first of all, it will purify the nadis. We know 3 nadis, Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. So all these nadis should be cleared. Not the nostrils which we see. Then second principle of yoga therapy is reconditioning of neuromuscular glandular system. Because it was disturbed, we have just seen. So nervous system, muscular system, glandular system, they should work hand in hand. There should be very good coordination between them. So there is a reconditioning of all these 3 aspects due to yoga therapy. And it becomes possible through asanas and pranayama, through Om chanting. That's all. The third thing is cultivation of proper psychological attitude. Say, patient is mentally disturbed. He is disturbed because of the pain and unhappiness in the mind, complaining. So it is to develop the ability of the patient to cope up with the stressful situation, and for that his particular attitude or behavior is necessary. So what we have to do is, we have to observe the patient carefully, and we can understand what are the behavioral problems with him. We can give him samupadeshan, counseling, and he will understand that yes, here I am mistaking. So there will be a correction and cultivation of correct psychological attitude, behavior. The main target of Hatha Yoga is also behavior. Behavior with ourselves, behavior with the others in society, etc. That is how yamas have been suggested by Patanjali. Yamas for yourself, niyamas for yourself, and yamas for the social aspect. Then relaxative postures, pranayam, meditation can bring this psychophysiological equilibrium, reconditioning, cultivation of psychological attitude, proper attitude, very nicely. So with all these 3 principles, yoga therapy is working. And yoga therapy supports all these three principles by developing the optimum muscle tone. For example, suppose you have a backache, spinal problem. By developing the muscle tone properly, we can strengthen our muscle, particularly back muscles, spinal muscles. Why the slip disc and other things are happening? Because our muscles are not strong, and yoga will do that. So to bring muscle tone at the optimum level again, that is how yoga is working. Complete mental relaxation through shavasana, etc. Then reconstructing proper emotional setup of the individual, that is also necessary. I have seen patients having allergy on the skin. They were cured because of yogic practices, and counseling them and making them realized for their own emotional disturbance, and when it was set up again nicely, they were all cured. So this shows that proper administration of yogic practices by the yoga therapist will cure many things, many disorders. Now, what are the basic requirements for yoga therapy? Basic requirements, what is needed? So first thing is correct technique of yoga. Yes, our body responds as per the stimulus. If the stimulus is proper, there will be good response. So yoga therapist has to apply yogic techniques correctly. हमारा जो टेक्निक है, कृति है, करने की रीत है, that should be well, very well. वो बराबर होनी चाहिए, exact होनी चाहिए. Number 2, constitution and nature of the patient. Constitution in the sense, we can say prakriti. कैसी प्रकृति है? We can have help of Ayurveda here, Vata Pitta Kapha, that is prakriti. So according to his prakriti, constitution, nature, his age, other capacities like flexibility, then blood pressure, etc. So all these things to be considered by the yoga therapist. Next requirement is conscious control on the ahar, achar, vichar. Even Bhagavad Gita also says yukta ahara viharasya yukta chestasu karmasu. What it says? Your vihar, that is all the 24 hours, whatever you do, vihar, and ahar, the diet, nutrition you are taking, if it is yukta, just enough what is required, not excessive nor anything less. And we Indians, we have a habit of having excessive diet. बहुत सारा खा लेते हैं, जरूरत नहीं. योग की जो कल्पना है वो मिताहार की है, minimum diet, and you can survive with that very well, and your body will have good healing and everything. So yoga therapist should be well experienced. That is 4. And he should have his own yoga sadhana, very good experience of yoga. And that is how he can advise the patient. He can apply the yogic therapy, yogic practices to the patient very nicely. When he is well experienced because of his own practice. That is also true. So he may start with simplified asanas, slightly modified asanas, and then he should bring patient to the original asanas. In yoga therapy, we do not recommend any support like chair, chain, thread, takiya, pillow, nothing. We don't require anything. Only Hatha Yogic practices, to which we call traditional practices with scientific aspect. That is why they are also known as classical, traditional and classical yoga, without any support of the takiya or pillow or something. No need. We need only mattress and the strong desire of a patient to get cured through yoga. That is what we require. As I said, recently also there were many researches on yoga. I was also an in charge of yoga project on diabetes. And we have all seen that yes, yoga can cure many disorders, psychosomatic disorders very easily when it is successfully and logically, scientifically given to the patient. Even Nimans and Bangalore Institute of Yoga, they are all working for the research in yoga. Now recently there were many studies on obesity, neuroticism. Recently Kaivaladham also had one project on suicidal tendency in school-going children, college students, youngsters. We have taken survey of more than 1 lakh people and they were selected for the yogic practices, yogic treatment, and we found very good results to eliminate this suicidal tendency. And we say generally that whoever is practicing yoga, there is no depression in his life. We are surprised to see how people get depressed. If that is because they are not doing yoga. And traditional yoga is also only helpful in this connection, in this proper approach. Not the power yoga or hot yoga. No. Now recently there is beer yoga also. Oh no. Only traditional yoga practices like 16 asanas from Hatha Pradipika, 32 asanas from Kiran Sanhita, etc. Only they are sufficient. Even they are very hard to be practiced. We have to modify them. So, even in educational field, we have seen that the intellectual level of the children will be enhanced through yoga. I wanted to say that there were many studies, still they are being done, on patients to see the effect of yoga treatment. But it is definite that in our yoga therapy application, that lifestyle corrections and management of good diet along with the yoga they are very, very essential. That can bring great happiness to the patient. Now we will see in short the supporting therapies, supporting to our yoga therapy. Number one, I told you already that observance of yama and niyam. So every patient has to be given the complete understanding of these yam and niyam. Then he understands that he has to behave in this way, because that has got a long-term bearing on the mental health of the patient. They are so important. So patient has to be guided for these yamas and niyamas. Ayurvedic Tridosh theory will also help us by simply taking the nadi pariksha, observing the patient, whether he is having more pitta side, vata side, or kapha side. So that also we can see. So these are all supporting, even homeopathy, Ayurvedic medicines, Unani medicines, naturopathy, mud therapy, sun therapy, water therapy, then massage, acupressure, they all will help and they will support our main yoga therapy. Main thing is changing the lifestyle. Because of our modern life, our lifestyle has been disturbed. Now it is very wrong lifestyle. कभी भी उठेंगे, कभी भी सोएंगे, रात देर तक सोएंगे. See, now this corona has taught us to wash our hands, feet when we come back from the market. Previously also, our parents were telling us same thing. So all these things are happening. Ayurveda says sadachar, that is ideal behavior, is also necessary. Then exact diet, proper diet, which should be nutritional as well as less in quantity. Morning walk, yes, morning walk, Surya Namaskar. Then proper mental frame of the patient is also necessary. It is also important. So yoga therapists will observe the patient nicely, his mental behavior, thinking. Next is proper rest, sleep and relaxation. All these three things are different. Good sleep for 7-8 hours for youngsters, 6 hours for elders, 9 hours for children, necessary. Proper rest and relaxation is also necessary for support to the yoga therapy. Rational thinking, peaceful mind, proper entertainment, that is also very good, very well required. Because agitation, irritation in the mind, nervousness in the mind will give obstacles to healing process. So we should remain calm and quiet, stable in our mind, so So these are all necessary things. Next thing is we require humor, supporting, laughter. Only human beings can laugh. No other animal can laugh. Have you seen dogs laughing? No, only human beings. So the laughter or the humor can produce indispensable joyfulness in our mind, great happiness. And these jokes or humors, they are analgesic in nature. They are real painkillers. They can relieve our pain, mental pain, even headache can be cured when we laugh. See, children are laughing 300 to 400 times. How many times we laugh? And now in lockdown, we are all at home. How many times we laugh? We should. So because of the comedy, humor, we have chances to laugh. When we smile, keep smiling, laughing. These are all emotional, positive emotions. They can enhance our healing power. What we should avoid? Hate, hatred, negative, dissatisfaction. This we should avoid because that will disturb our mental peace, and that is why they will diminish our immunity also. So इसलिए and devotion. So Shraddha, patience, devotion. Even Sai Baba also says Shraddha and Saburi. So patient should have Shraddha that our Rishi Munis has given a treasure and we are using it. So definitely I will be cured completely. Shraddha होनी चाहिए, संयम भी होना चाहिए. कुछ पेशेंट है ना, they become impatient. डॉक्टर मैं कब ठीक हो जाऊंगा? जल्दी क्या है, हो जाएंगे. So saburi, patience is required on the part of the patient when we give him yoga therapy. Bhakti, devotional aspect is also necessary. Patanjali has told us Ishwar Pranidhan. So faith in God, devotion for the God, bhakti is also highly required when we do yoga therapy. So here we stop. We have seen different aspects of yoga therapy, main principles, how we should apply the application part therapy, how we can cure the patient, not the disease. So we have seen all these aspects very well. I thank you all for listening me quietly, patiently, with great patience, because disturbances because of the internet clarity or range. I would like to thank the director, Dr. Srikant Deshmukh, for inviting me for the lecture. I would like to thank Mrs. Shubhangi Ravle, Dr. Prakash Zod sir, even Deshmukh sir, for their constant, they have taken so much pain to record my lecture. And I have also taken, but they have not become irritated. They have shown their patience to record my lecture. So I must thank them. With thanks to all of you again, I stop here. Welcome the questions